Hello everyone, it's Christina. I'm back with another video today, and today's topic is excessive chewing. Excessive chewing is just a child repeatedly chewing on some type of object that's most likely not food or anything edible. Saint would chew on socks and Saige would chew on the collar of his shirt. Okay, back on over. This is what he used to chew on his sock. You see it's distressed, it's stretched out further than, but he used to just gnaw on it and gnaw on it. Oh my, but he would just gnaw on it and gnaw on it. So this is Saige's shirt. Saige's shirt has the collar distressed because he would just chew on the collar. It got bad to where like he would chew, it'll be like this much worth of the shirt in his mouth, and it's just like drool and slob like all the way down on it. But so that was a problem because I would have to change his shirt and his undershirt, and sometimes he would do it while we're out, and specifically when it was like cold outside. The excessive chewing relates to autism because it's a form of stimming. I talked about this in another video of mine. I will link it at the end. Excessive chewing is another form of stimming related to autism. So the stimming helps them to relieve anxiety. It's almost like a burst of energy that you have to like let out. So the repetitive chewing kind of helps ease that for them. So this form of anxiety, like these children, they'll either chew repetitively, some suck their thumb, but it's just the nerves trying to find a way to get out. Some other forms of stimming or doing something excessively would be like chewing gum, tapping your foot, moving your fingers around, and clicking your pen. Those are all excessive behaviors that are anxiety driven. So to help them, I didn't want them chewing on their clothes all the time because the clothes eventually got too worn out to where they couldn't wear them again. So I went out and got them some, which one am I going to show first? The orange one. This is Chewlry. Now I have a whole bunch, so I'm going to just pick them all up. We have a whole bunch of Chewlry and some objects that's like Chewlry, but it's not necessarily Chewlry. So these are all of them. Some of them have lanyards. Some of them are like the Binky type toys, but they're all like that silicone type material. I know this one is marketed for like a baby, newborn baby. This is one of those old school teethers with the liquid inside that you put in the freezer on a lanyard. This was like a gum massager that they chewed. It's like more to it, but they chewed it off both sides. And you see it's like, it's cracking too, so they did this one in pretty good. It's tearing. Yeah, they chewed up the I don't know what this is called, whatever this is called, but they chewed this up too. It doesn't even look right. These are the Chewlry necklaces. And and the last one is this Pop-It toy. They like this because it's the same material as most of these Chewies, so it's like flexible. So they'll chew on this too, and they like to play with it. This is marketed as a sensory toy, the Pop-Its. So the pros and cons of Chewlry is I'm just going to start with the cons. The biggest con is repetitive chewing will eventually cause some dental issues. You're chewing constantly, so be mindful that Chewlry is not a end-all type of fixture. Get in moderation, but they're still chewing on something which is still harmful. Having Chewlry is a band-aid. It's not a solution. These three are all like baby teethers, but it still has that flexible chewy material. Pretty strong silicone basically, but this one was definitely their favorite. Not out of all of them though. This one was their most favorite. I don't know where I got it from. There's like no logo on here, but be aware that some of these parts do come off. There's a tear there, so it was a whole nother section to this specific chew toy. So be mindful that some of these parts may come off, and it's your responsibility to keep up with the parts so no one chokes. Don't want any choking. So this was the old school teether. They have, let me put it on manual focus. So you can, let me see, I think this side. You can see like little chew marks. They mostly chewed on this part for some reason, but they didn't. I just put a lanyard on it and called it a day. So be mindful again, this has liquid in it, that it's not such a tough plastic to where it's not puncturable, but I mean theirs never did, but I'm not saying that it can't happen. Last but not least, this one. This piece of Chewlry goes into a necklace type of thing, and you can just wear it. Now I'm going to show you why I cannot fasten it. Baby, focus, honey. So this is the part that helps you connect it into a necklace. These are severely chewed up, like you can't even fasten it as a necklace anymore. This one was their absolute favorite. Now this has a tougher plastic, but it is still flexible and bendable. I really didn't like these because it's so much harder than all the other ones, and these two little plastic pieces that I had to make sure I had to keep up with. Kind of raised my anxiety, just him chewing on this and having it on, and it's harder. You might have dental issues later. You can help alleviate some of your child's wants to chew on some things. Sometimes any type of repetitive behavior kind of gets them in the zone and takes them out of focus on chewing things, such as any play outside, really. Just look for ways to decrease their anxiety level. I am no expert. I just know what works for me, and I know what works for my children. Play-Doh, drawing, painting, running, of course, and jumping. They had these two trampolines in the living room at one point, and they were jumping so much that the whole trampoline would come up off the floor. So those had to go because all I saw was an ER visit from that. Any sensory play, playing on a water table, slime. They love slime, but I do not. There's also sensory seating, which brings me to my next point. How I deal with concentrating on recording these videos, I sit on a yoga ball. And we'll show you the yoga ball. This is the yoga ball. It has sand in it. You can hear that. But yeah, if you see me like bouncing up and down from time to time, I'm on a yoga ball. It helps me concentrate. I want to encourage you to try to find different ways to alleviate the anxiety, to decrease some of the stimming. Also, try to find what alleviates your anxiety if you feel anxious at any time. So explore all your options. Like, just do it. Okay, just do it. Just find what makes you feel better, because you don't have to feel that way. Remember that. You don't have to feel that way. You can find alternatives to Chewlry, like chewing gum, crunchy food like pretzels, chips, things like that. So if you want to try it out, I encourage you to just make sure to always inspect them, because it could be a part that's almost coming off that they can choke on, such as this was one they had. There was like 2 bulbs at the top and the bottom, but they are not there anymore. So always inspect them, because they can choke on a lot of these things. Inspect for leaks. Any possible leaks. Make sure you're like super thorough with this, because we don't know what's in there. It's a clear liquid, but I don't know what that is, and they don't need to drink it. Yeah, make sure the ones that have like more than one part, make sure, check it for integrity. It's a lot to keep up with, but you can do it, because you don't want your child to choke, right? Nobody wants to do CPR on a kid ever. To find a way to detour the excessive chewing, you could think of other exercises that involve the mouth, like blowing bubbles. The spin wheels that you see like out in the garden that blows with the wind, those help a lot. You just have to give them another activity to do, and that's going to decrease the stimming. That concludes my video for today. I hope y'all are having a great day, and just keep going.